In this video, I am going to teach you how to answer the type of interview questions that start off with, tell me about a time. Now, these questions include, tell me about a time you worked as part of a team. Tell me about a time you had to overcome a difficult problem. Tell me about a time you experienced conflict with a co-worker. Tell me about a time you disagreed with your boss. And also, tell me about a time you made a mistake. So these are difficult interview questions, and they are more commonly referred to as behavioural interview questions. So to help you pass your job interview, this is what I'm going to cover during this presentation. So I will give you a list of tell me about a time behavioural interview questions that I strongly recommend you prepare for. These questions are coming up all of the time during different types of job interviews, so make sure you prepare answers to them. I will also explain how to answer tell me about a time interview questions so you gain the highest scores achievable. I will also, as usual, give you brilliant example answers to these difficult behavioural interview questions to help you pass your interview. And I will also tell you how you can access further resources, including these slides, to help you succeed. So here's how to answer tell me about a time behavioural interview questions. It is imperative that you use the STAR technique to structure your answers. And the STAR technique stands for situation, task, action, and result. So when you answer the tell me about a time interview question, you start off and you outline the situation you were in. You then move on and explain the task that needed doing. You will then move on and give details about the action you took, and you then finish off with the results of your actions. So let me now show you the STAR technique in action when answering the difficult interview question, tell me about a time you worked as part of a team. Here we go. In a previous role, a situation came up where my manager asked the team I was a part of to brainstorm new ideas for promoting the business. Now, it was our task as a team to work together to come up with new and innovative ways to increase the company's sales. Now, as part of the team task, we held a meeting and discussed various ideas that we felt could work. During the team discussions, we listened to each other. We created an environment where no idea was off limits, and we utilised each other's strengths to create a list of potential ideas that we felt could work. After the meeting had come to an end, we presented the combined team's ideas to our manager, and she then chose 5 of them to implement over the coming months. 3 of the ideas had a significant impact on company sales to the point where they had increased by 25%. So that's a brilliant answer to that behavioural interview question, tell me about a time you worked as part of a team. So it's a really good answer. And you can see there that by using the STAR technique, you are able to construct a high scoring answer. Let's have a look at another behavioural interview question. Tell me about a time you disagreed with your boss. This is a difficult interview question, and the majority of interview candidates fall into the trap of saying, I've never disagreed with my boss. Do not say that. Here's a couple of tips before I give you a brilliant example answer. Tip number 1, again, make sure you use the STAR technique to provide a rock solid answer to this behavioural interview question. Tip number 2, disagreeing with your boss is actually a good thing, providing you do it the right way with respect and professionalism. And here's how to do it. Here's a great example answer to the behavioural interview question, tell me about a time you disagreed with your boss. Here we go. I once had a disagreement with my boss about how to deal with a customer who had made a complaint. Now, the customer was extremely irate, and they were demanding not only a replacement product, but a full refund too. Now, this went against company policy, and my boss was refusing to give in to their demands. Now, based on my experience, I felt we needed to meet the demands of the customer, and so I saw it as my task to challenge my boss professionally and amicably. Now, I explained to my boss in private how I felt that by not agreeing to the customer's demands, it could potentially make the situation worse. The customer was threatening to speak to trading standards, and they were also going to leave a negative review online. I explained that we had an opportunity here to try and work with the customer to improve our service moving forward, something which I felt was very important. Now, after a few discussions backwards and forwards with my boss, he agreed with my approach to dealing with the customer. And I then managed to diffuse the situation and make it work to our advantage by working with the customer to improve our customer service standards. That is a brilliant answer to that difficult behavioural interview question. Tell me about a time you disagreed with your boss. It shows that you have the confidence to say if you disagree with your boss, and you then take positive steps to get the outcome you need for the company. So it's a brilliant answer. Now, don't go anywhere because I still have more questions and answers to give you. But when you're ready, if you want to click that link in the top right-hand corner of the video, it will take you through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can download my full set of 25 Tell Me About a Time behavioural interview questions and top scoring answers, including the ones we are working through together today. But here's the next question. Tell me about a time you had to overcome a difficult problem. Again, this is a really difficult behavioural interview question. Here's a couple of tips before I give you a brilliant answer. Tip number 1. Use the STAR technique again to structure your answer to this behavioural interview question. Tip number 2. Show that you have the determination and the resourcefulness to overcome any work-related challenges. So here's a great example answer to assist you. Tell me about a time you had to overcome a difficult problem. Here we go. I've been involved in helping my team at work arrange an important company event that was due to take place the following day. Now, unfortunately, a situation arose whereby a catering supplier had let us down the day before the event, and we were in danger of not having any food or refreshments available for the attendees. Now, my manager was extremely busy sorting things out for the event, so I decided to take it upon myself to try and rectify the issue. I telephoned all local catering companies, but none were available to help out at such short notice. I decided to collate a list of refreshments we had ordered from the catering company that had let us down, including details relating to any specific special dietary requirements. Now, that evening after work, I went along to my local 24-hour supermarket and I purchased suitable and sufficient off-the-shelf refreshments for all attendees. I kept hold of the receipt and informed my manager of the action I had taken the following morning. Now, the event went ahead as planned without problem, and my manager thanked me for taking the initiative to solve this difficult problem. That is a cracking answer because it shows you are resourceful, you have identified there is a problem, and instead of just going to your manager and letting him or her know about it, you are taking positive steps to sort it out yourself. And that shows that you are capable of overcoming any difficult problem. The next behavioural interview question I recommend you prepare for. This is extremely common during job interviews nowadays. Tell me about a time you experienced conflict with a co-worker and how you resolved it. Tip number 1, make sure you give a specific situation you've been in where you experienced conflict with someone at work. The vast majority of people answer this question by saying, I'm good at working with people and I never experience conflict. That is not the way to answer it. Tip number 2, in your answer, show you are capable of resolving conflict yourself without the need to include management. So here's a great example answer to assist you to this difficult behavioural interview question. Tell me about a time you experienced conflict with a co-worker and how you resolved it. Here we go. I was working as part of a team in a previous role whereby I experienced conflict with a co-worker who had been with the company for a long period of time. Now, every time I put forward an idea during a team meeting, he dismissed it out of hand, which made me feel uncomfortable. Now, being somebody who is not afraid to tackle conflict head on, I decided to speak to him in private to try and resolve the situation for the sake of the team. Now, after one of the meetings where he again dismissed my ideas, I asked to speak to him in private and I explained to him my concerns regarding what had been happening. He said I was being paranoid, but I gave him 4 examples of where he had dismissed my ideas out of hand for no reason. He then backed down and he apologised for being dismissive. He stated it was not his intention to cause offence and that he would change moving forward. Now, from that moment on, our relationship improved significantly. And I ended up working with him on several projects where we managed to achieve some great things together for the company. That is a brilliant answer because you sort out the conflict yourself in a professional manner. You are not afraid to do so, but look at that end result. That's the important thing. The result at the end is positive following your actions. That's a brilliant top scoring answer to that common behavioural interview question. Tell me about a time you experienced conflict with a coworker and how you resolved it. Here's the next question. Tell me about a time you needed to get information from someone who wasn't very responsive. This is a difficult question. Tip number 1. This is a difficult behavioural interview question to answer, but within your response, be resourceful. Again, be resourceful and above all, determined to get the information that you need. And tip number 2, again, make good use of that STAR technique to construct a top scoring answer. You can see how effective it is in responding to these tell me about a time interview questions. So here's a great example answer to assist you. Tell me about a time you needed to get information from someone who wasn't very responsive. I was working on a project with 3 other team members in my previous job, and we needed some information from a contractor to help us finish a particular task. Now, the contractor was not responding to our requests for information. Now, I saw it as my responsibility to take ownership of this situation and to do all I could to get the information needed. The clock was ticking and I wasn't prepared to let the project fail because of this issue. Now, after numerous attempts trying to contact the person both by email and via telephone, I decided to travel to the company premises where the contractor was based. Now, although it was a 30-minute drive away, I was determined to get the information we needed. When I arrived, I managed to get a message to the contractor explaining that I was in the reception area of their premise and that I needed to speak to them urgently about the request. A few minutes later, they came down to the reception area to meet me, and I explained to them how important it was that they provided me with the information needed. They apologised for not responding, which they said was simply down to their heavy workload. Now, once they provided me with the information needed, I called my team to pass it on to ensure they had everything they required to complete the project. I am a determined and resilient person, and I will always go out of my way for my team to get a task completed on time and to the right standards. That's another really good answer that shows that you can take responsibility for getting the information you need. Now, the next thing to do, please do make sure you click that link right now in the top right-hand corner of the video. Head over to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can download my full set of 25 Tell Me About a Time behavioural interview questions and top scoring answers, including all of the ones we have worked through together today during this presentation. So you get the 5 that I've covered plus another 20, and it will make a massive difference to your performance at your interview. Make sure you check it out. Finally, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We have now over 500,000 subscribers, and lots of you are passing your interviews, which is great news. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I have put my LinkedIn link in the description below the video, and please don't forget to give the video a like. That always motivates me to create more content for you. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best for passing your job interview. Have a brilliant day.